You start a new project, a new hobby, and you're all fired up for a week, maybe two, and then the excitement fades, the motivation vanishes, and another good idea goes to the project graveyard. Why does this keep happening? It's not because you're lazy or unfocused. It is because you're hitting a predictable, motivation-crushing wall that almost everyone faces. And I'm going to show you the way to get over the wall, so you can turn that spark into a skill you are proud of. Hi, I'm Bijoy, an ex-Meta staff engineer and manager turned indie game developer. And welcome back to YearnCat. In part 1, we threw out an old definition of a strength. We established that a true strength isn't something you're good at. It's an activity that energizes you. We used a 1-week journaling experiment and the SIGN framework, success, impact, growth, and need, to uncover what truly motivates you. If you haven't seen the video, I recommend watching it first. But if you're ready to build on that foundation, let's get into it. If you look back on any skill you have learned, you'll notice that the journey follows a surprisingly predictable pattern. Understanding this pattern is the key to developing your strengths without losing momentum. It unfolds in 4 stages. It all starts with the spark. You're excited to learn a new skill. You don't know what you don't know, so you watch tutorials, buy starter kits, and follow instructions. Everything is new and thrilling. But after that initial high, things get real. You hit the dip. This is where you start to see the sheer scale of the skill. If you're a YouTuber, you start seeing story structures, thumbnail designs, and animations. If you're a programmer, you're hit with APIs, architectures, and frameworks. The mountain you need to climb suddenly looks huge, and your initial motivation plummets. This is where most hobbies go to die. But if you push past that low point, you enter the next stage, the climb. You're becoming competent, you generally know how to do things, but occasionally need a little bit of help. Most of the strengths we easily identify for ourselves lie here. Finally, after even more work on this skill, you'll reach the flow. Your skill has become so strong that it is self-driving. You're internally motivated to use it and develop it further, creating a positive feedback loop. You seek out harder challenges, a more complex video edit, a more ambitious painting, because the process itself is rewarding. The strength becomes part of your identity. Let's formalize this journey into a framework. We'll visualize the concepts of competence and commitment over time. Over this timeline showing your progress from left to right, we're going to follow 2 different lines. First, there is our competence line. This is simply how good you are at the skill. It starts low and hopefully goes up. Second, there's your commitment line. This is how internally motivated you are. As you'll see, this one is a bit of a roller coaster. In stage 1, or the spark, your commitment is high, but your competence is very low. You're full of energy, but lack the know-how. Then in stage 2, the dip hits. Your competence is still low, but your commitment comes crashing down. This low commitment, low competence valley is the most pivotal point of the journey. As you push into stage 3, your competence grows steadily. With each small success, your commitment also starts rising, trailing behind the competence. And finally, in stage 4, your high competence fuels your high commitment. You're so good at it that doing the skill feels great, which makes you want to do more and you get even better. This is the self-sustaining loop of mastery. Now, similar to the SIGN exercise from the last video, you need to do some soul searching here. Getting a clear picture of where your strengths lie is the first step to knowing what to do next. So I strongly encourage you to pause this video, like and subscribe, and try to put the strengths you have identified into these buckets. As you do this, you'll probably run into a few interesting challenges. To help, I'll walk you through how I do this for myself. Let's start with the easiest, stage 4. These strengths are usually entangled with your identity. For me, that's programming. I can get more specific here and list languages like C# or frameworks like Flutter, but how granular you go is your choice. You might also struggle with a bit of an imposter syndrome here, feeling like you are far from the best in the world. That's fine. The criteria is that you're comfortable in handling most of the challenges you encounter and take on more naturally. If yes, it's a stage 4 strength. Let's move on to stage 3. This is a spectrum of skills you are just okay at, to good but not great. For me, game design lies here. An interesting thing about stage 3 is it's also a parking lot for older stage 4 strengths. For instance, I used to be an expert in Android development, but as my focus shifted, I've gotten a bit rusty. If you feel any pressure about skills like these, remember it's okay. We have a limited time and we can't be experts in everything. Now the hardest and the most important stage for introspection, stage 2. These are the skills where you know you have little competence and little motivation. For me, that's social media presence. Honestly, recording this video and sharing it out is a nightmare for me. As you think more about this stage, you'll notice something interesting. Some of your stage 3 and stage 4 strengths never seem to have gone through this dip. This can happen if you had really strong motivation or an accelerated way of learning, so stage 2 was either shorter or the dip was smaller. But more often, we just don't remember the hard parts of our successful journeys. Almost everything you're truly good at took a lot of struggle. Okay, moving on to the last, stage 1. Stage 1 skills are the ones you are most excited to learn right now. If you're this far into a video about personal development, that's probably one of them. For me, script writing lies here. I really like the process of articulating my knowledge. You might also struggle to distinguish these from an early stage 3 skill. The key difference is whether you see the motivation dip ahead of you or behind you. Okay, hopefully that helped. Now go do it on your own strengths. Okay, this framework isn't just an exercise in labeling. By diagnosing which bucket a strength lies in, you'll know exactly the kind of support you need to keep moving forward. If you're in stage 1, you're all in, but you really don't know what's feasible. You need a high amount of external direction. This is a time to binge tutorials, buy a starter kit, and follow a clear plan potentially set out by a manager or a mentor. Going in aimlessly will likely lead you straight into the slump of stage 2 without enough competence to push past it. If you keep at it, you'll hit stage 2 where your commitment has tanked. You need more than just instructions. You need coaching. This means continuing to get external milestones, but also getting encouragement and the context of why it matters. Find a good mentor, an accountability buddy, set up a routine, or commit to a goal you can't back away from, like making a video with multiple parts. Pushing past the slump moves you into stage 3. You've gotten the baseline skills but are still a bit hesitant. Your need for direction is reduced as you start finding your own way. What you need now is support and empowerment. This is less about being told what to do and more about being trusted to figure it out. Your focus should be building an instinct to unblock yourself. Take on projects that are a little scary but doable, and keep a safety net like a mentor you can call upon or a flexible deadline. Getting excessive external goals in this stage can feel like a lack of trust and become toxic, so avoid that. For some skills, you'll eventually reach stage 4, where you're self-motivated and just need the freedom to execute. The support you need, ironically, is autonomy. So the biggest risk here isn't a lack of support, but of the wrong kind. Be wary of too much external reward. It's a psychological trap called the over-justification effect. When you're rewarded profusely for something you already love doing, it can hijack your internal joy and the drive that got you here. As you can see, knowing what support you need is just as important as knowing where the strength lies on the journey. Because if you don't know where your strengths lie, how could your manager, your mentor, and your friends? And how would they know how to help you or equally how not to help you? By knowing yourself, you can ask for the right kind of support. So there you have it. Developing a strength isn't a mystery. It's a predictable journey through 4 stages. By understanding whether you are in the spark, the dip, the climb, or the flow, you can get yourself the right kind of support and avoid the wrong kind, so you can keep growing without burning out. But even with this framework, there are a couple of mindset hurdles that can derail your progress. In the next video of this series, we'll talk about the most common traps that stop people from reaching their potential and how you can avoid them. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Now I want to hear from you. Did you try this method? Did you struggle doing it? Write down in the comments. I would love to help you out. Thanks for watching and see you next time.